All right, what's up, guys? So I'm starting any moment now. All right, so if you have any questions, any shortening request or anything like that, just let me know in the chat, and I will take a look at it. So let's just jump right into the charts and start off by taking a look at Bitcoin. All right, so Bitcoin looking looking extremely bullish. I mean, it's this move has been quite yeah, I will definitely take a look at those. I will add them to my list here. So what's up, everyone? What's up, Nicola? Got I can't pronounce half of you guys' name, and I'm not gonna try because I'm not gonna try to embarrass myself, but I know that I can pronounce Nicola and Daniel, so that's everyone else is as equally welcomed, or as equally welcome, right? John Van Den Reek, welcome, John. What we got? Link versus USDT, and we're gonna take a look at Tesos versus USDT, and the OGN BTC. All right, so obviously with this, like I haven't actually checked the charts all day, so this is the first time I'm seeing this, and this move just happened just now. And like the thing is, I don't like these moves on the weekends, because usually what happens on weekends for Bitcoin, like the weekend price action, usually does not have follow through going into next week. But considering, I mean, I do really consider the fact that we have broken above this very important trend line right here. I usually do not use trend lines in my analysis, but you have to take this one into consideration, because if you use the high, yeah, exactly. So if you use this high from all the way up here at 20k, or to be exact, it's at 19,700, whatever, doesn't matter at all. But if you use this high up here to, you know, from this one to that one, and you're just gonna extend the line, so you can clearly see that you have some quite nice confluence here with the short RLC, this high time frame resistance right here. All right, so for some reason, get a message in the chat, got retracted. I don't know why, because it wasn't anything weird. And if that was you or was YouTube, I don't know, man. It's weird stuff, man. LTC, BTC, we got IOTA, BTC. So obviously, alt versus Bitcoin is most likely. I'm gonna take a look at the chart, and like I said, I haven't really taken a look at the chart much today. Actually, none at all. Been busy, you know, spending time with the family. I usually I don't trade on weekends, but if I were at my desk, there was a quite obvious trade on Bitcoin, and I'm gonna show you why I think we had that obvious move, right? And before I go into any detail on that, I want to give a huge shout out and a big thank you to Prime XPT for helping me out and sponsoring me on this channel. You guys probably know all about Prime XPT already. If you're not on the exchange, definitely check out the link in the description below. And if you use that link, you can also use the promo code LIBS42bonus to get a 50% increase on your first deposit. All right, so let's take a look at Bitcoin here. And man, it feels really good to be back at the desk, honestly. Like, I love my family, and this is gonna sound weird, you know, but I love my family. I love spending time with them. I love doing, you know, playing around with my son and all that. But this is what I really love doing, and I feel it's just, I feel blessed, honestly, to be able to do this as my, you know, as a work, right? So I've gone from doing this as a hobby to actually getting paid for to do this, and it's just absolute blessing. And I wish I had more time to do this for you guys, and hopefully next month I will have way more time to do these, you know, videos and live streams, and yeah, you're gonna see a lot more content coming out for me in the next couple of hopefully weeks or a month. So with that said, let's take a look at that obvious setup that I was talking about. So Bitcoin has kind of been, you know, doing this staircase motion, if you will, kind of like that staircase to heaven, right? And when I'm trading, and usually, like, mostly this is what I use on Forex when trading. I mean, this is the strategy I use on Forex and Bitcoin, and I'm gonna do a video on this, just a quick walkthrough of that, you know, the break and retest strategy. It's a very simple one. Most likely it's something you guys use too. It's just very, very simple. You want to find a trend, and you want to, for example, in an uptrend here, you want to find an uptrend. You want to wait till resistance breaks to the upside. Want to long the first rounded retest, hoping that the trend will continue to the upside. So looking at Bitcoin right here, we're gonna go to the hourly here, and we're gonna see like how well has that strategy worked out. Well, like, let's say that this was the, and we talked about this in the market updates too, right? So let's say that this high right here, I mean, this was the high, the breakout of range high. This was a rounded retest of range high. So you could say that this is the breakout, this is the rounded retest, this is the break, this is the retest, hence the break retest strategy, right? This is the high, this is the breakout. Now you will expect for price to come down and touch either this high or this high. Price makes a rounded retest and touches this high, right? You have a new resistance area right here. You break above, come down for rounded retest, and you test this high. Now this is the obvious setup that I was talking about, and I've been telling you guys in the Burbness, in the free, you know, the free Bitcoin reports that we do release in the Burbness Discord. If you're not in the Discord, definitely check out theburbness.com. We also have, you know, the free Discord where we release the free Bitcoin report. So check that out, guys. If you're not in the Discord, you need to join the Discord. We're gonna mark out this, you know, the high pre-breakout. So marking out the high pre-breakout here, you will see that you had a pretty, you know, obvious setup right here, right? So what do we want to see? Well, in my case, when you have a breakout like this, you want to see at least a 4-hour open and close above the level. This is your 4-hour open and close. Then, like, honestly, I would more likely look for a rounded retest on the 4-hour, like you had, you know, here, something like that. But if you look at past price action, this is really the only valid, beautiful 4-hour rounded retest you had. But if you look at the hourly, you had way more rounded retest on the hourly, and it kind of looks like this trend makes more sense to trade on the hourly if you look at this range down here. So with that in mind, I think it makes absolute sense to wait for the 4-hour open and close above the last high, which is this area. You then go down into the hourly, and you're gonna look for a somewhat of a rounded retest. Now, this is, in my opinion, a good trade. So what you would have done in that case, when you had the 4-hour open and close, you would want to have, and honestly, I would probably have posted this setup in the Burb Nest if I were actually awake when this happened. But I woke up, I think I woke up and had the first opportunity to look at the chart up here, and that would not really have been a good risk to reward setup, right? What do you think about the daily possible daily candle like this one? Reaction at the moment is absolutely strong. IMO, in my honest opinion, yeah, I think so. Time for a small pullback back to close CME gap. Well, honestly, I don't look much on the CME gap, but we can take a look at the CME gap too. And I'm gonna answer your question. I'm definitely gonna answer that question. I got a lot of questions tonight to go through, so we're gonna take it one question at a time. But this setup right here, right? So the target for this one would have been 10K. So let's add a level at 10K. And why 10K? Because, well, I like 10K. I'm going to put it at 9,989. Just because you want to front run that level, right? And obviously that would have been a pretty nice level to take some profits, right? So you would have entered on that last high right there. The stop would have been probably below the swing low, like either below the thrust candle. I would probably put it below that wick, which should probably be a swing low on the hourly. Yeah, somewhere probably here, right? And up to this level would have been a 2.77 hour trade. So that's definitely valid. And if you want further confirmation of this, you could wait for, you know, this would also have been a very good confirmation, right? So you're looking at this 4-hour bullish engulfing. What you could have done here, and this is, you know, this method will give you very, very good risk to reward trade. So you enter on the close of that candle because this is a bullish engulfing, and on the hourly it's a round retest. So it's a very nice bounce on the hourly. You're gonna wait for this 4-hour candle to close. You're gonna enter right here and you put your stop right below this wick, and profit is gonna be at that level above, which will give you a very nice, you know, 4-hour trade. So that's just some tips on how to actually, you know, sometimes it's better to wait for confirmation. Is it better to wait until? Yeah, I think longing. I mean, I'm gonna show you guys a couple of interesting scenarios for a possible trade and a possible long or whatever. How did you pick 10K? Well, I picked 10K because 10K is 10K. It sounds good. That's obviously not a good answer. We're gonna take a look at the daily range right here. So we look at the daily range right here and we see that range high. Where is range high? Well, the range high is at 9,986, right? So the range high is close enough to 10K, which makes me think that 10K, and 10K is a psychologically very valid level, because a lot of people, I mean, all in this range, all people can think about is either, you know, 10K or 10.5K. If you're not that into the technical analysis, and maybe you're not, you know, that into the TA or Bitcoin, you at least know that Bitcoin is very close to 10K, right? The Bitcoin is about to break out of 10K, and for that reason 10K is also in the middle of this high time frame support area, which I mean the resistance area, which is between 9.8 and 10.5 something, right? So just 10K is a good level. I don't really know how to explain it. Sometimes you just take profits where you feel like it's makes sense, and 10K definitely makes sense. So I mean, you can't ignore the fact that Bitcoin is looking extremely bullish, but you can also, like, you look at this move right here, right? You look at this move right here, and you look at past price action. Obviously, past price action will not be, you know, price in the future will obviously not have to repeat past price action, so you can't really look at past price action and you know how price will move, but you will definitely find, you know, if you take past price action into consideration, you can definitely find, you know, patterns, and from those patterns you can find high probability setups, because the chances that something that has repeated over a 5-year period, it will repeat itself tomorrow too, is obviously quite big. If that makes sense. So this move right here is about 10%. We're gonna go back into, take a look at this range. This move right here was 13%. This one was 11. This one was 10. This one was 10. So most of these impulsive moves in a trend like this is about 10%, right? So I think, in my opinion, it's logical for price to retrace. If you look at this chart right here, point me in the direction where you can see a move this size where you haven't gotten a retrace. Well, it usually never happens. You most of the time do retrace a large part of the move, and if not a large part of the move, you retrace the whole move. And that's when Fibonacci retracement levels comes into play, right? So you put a fib on it. As soon as price stops, you get a pump, the pump stops, and let's say that you have a daily pump. This is a daily pump. This is a daily move. It's definitely very well visible on the daily time frame. So that's why I'm going to talk about this one as a daily time frame move. If you look at the 4-hour, this is clearly a 4-hour trending move. But on a daily, this is not really a trending move on a daily, because for me to have a valid trend, you need to have at least a pullback, right? You need to have at least a small little retrace and a break and retest. That will give you that lower lows and lower highs feeling, right? Or not feeling, but I talk about feelings, but this has nothing to do about feelings. Maybe a little, I don't know. So daily move in comparison to a 4-hour trend. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does make sense. It should make sense. Or else I have to really brush up on my communication skills. So I keep forgetting what I talk about, honestly, because I'm super tired today, and I got this. I'm not gonna blame my ADD, but I'm probably gonna have to blame it, because I keep forgetting what the fuck I'm talking about all the time, and it's so annoying, and I'm so sorry for that, guys. I was talking about this right here, and I totally lost myself in my own weird little brain. All right, yeah, retracements, Fibonacci retracements. So whenever a move stops, right? So whenever a move stops, you want to put a fib on it. So we're gonna start off with a completely clean chart for Bitcoin, and I'm thinking tonight's live stream. Really, yoga, yeah, meditation has helped me quite a bit. Like, meditation has helped me with a lot of stuff. I had like a hard time sleeping and all that stuff, and meditation helped me with my sleeping disorder and my focus, and yeah, man, meditation is the shit. If like you guys are trading, right? You guys are traders, and trading, like, to succeed in trading, that's honestly, like, for me, I think that's definitely a high performance thing to do, right? Because you need to be at your best at all times to succeed in trading. Like, you need to really put your emotions to the side when trading, and even if you have a fucked up day and you got some weird stuff going on in your life, when you sit down at your computer and you stare at the chart and you look at the setup, all you got to think about is a systematic approach to high probability setups and follow your rules, no matter how shitty your day was, right? And meditation will most likely definitely help you out with that. So if you guys are struggling with your psychological battles or balance or whatever in terms of trading, try shutting down your computer, go to a dark, quiet room, and you sit quietly, close your eyes, and think about nothing for 20 minutes. I promise you that's gonna help you. All right, so we're gonna start off by clean chart here. We're gonna load up this one, the Forex chart, BTC USDT on Binance. Gonna remove everything right here, and I wanna show you guys what I mean here, right? So this is the daily move right here. So what you do is when you see a move like this one and when it stops, you put a fib on it, right? So I think this is valid to see I think we're gonna retrace here. I'm gonna show you why I think we're gonna retrace, but I'm also gonna show you why it's possible that we're not gonna get a retrace. So I do think it's likely that this is the top of this move and this is the bottom of this move. So we're gonna put a fib on this one right here, and we're gonna use this one, and yeah, like that. Now the area of the Fibonacci retracement levels that I'm most interested in is the area around the 618 and the fib, the RLC, and the RLC is the area between the 786 and the 618. Those are the very important levels for me, right? So we got those levels in right here. So it's important to remember that I like to focus on the RLC. You will most likely see a lot of charts from me that have this on, right? This is the RLC, and I like to keep it clean. So I know that because it's right here, I know that this is the high and this is the low, but it might be confusing for you guys to actually know how I found these and what it comes from and all that. But before posting the charts on Twitter or before posting the charts on the Discord, I always take a look at all the fibs, because all the fibs are equally important. You gotta remember that all fibs are equally important if you get a bounce, right? Because if you have a confirmed bounce at a fib level that also has confluence with major moving averages, they are going to be way more important than the RLC. But if you have more confluence in the RLC, or if you have the same type of confluence at like the 382 and the RLC, I'm going to shoot the RLC. The RLC is maybe a little bit more important, right? But if you have more confluence at another fib level, I'm not going to look at the RLC, because if one fib level has more confluence than the other, you need to focus on that one. So we're gonna mark out this range right here. And how do I find the ranges? Well, I look for the impulsive, the stop of a trend, or the stop of a very impulsive strong move. And that's awesome, man. I'll really love to hear that from you guys, that you like, if you copy something that I've done and you try it out and you see that it's working. I mean, that's lovely. That's music to my ear, guys, music to my ears, because I have 2 ears. We're gonna add a range here, because I look at the high of the impulsive move to the low of the reaction of that high. So this is the high right here, and where is the low of that reaction? Well, it's down here, and it makes absolute sense to use the candle closes of this one and not the wicks. Why the candle closes and not the wicks? Some people say that if you use the wicks, you have to be consistent and always use the wicks. So whatever range, on whatever pair, on whatever market you trade, if you use the wicks, you have to use the wicks on all your ranges you ever mark out. And that's stupid. And I'm gonna tell you why it's stupid. Because if it doesn't make any sense, if it makes no sense looking at past price action to use the wicks on BTC, but on a pair on Forex, it makes absolutely sense. You stick to what you think makes most sense, because in trading, usually it's about keeping it simple. So if it looks like something is, if something makes sense, it usually does, right? So if it looks too weird, it's usually because it's just too weird and not gonna work, right? But So let's try out the um, the candle open and closes here, up here, to the open and closes here. And I'm going to explain to you why that makes more sense. Because if you extend this one to the left, you will quickly see that it lines up perfectly with the level here. If you use the wick on the other hand, not really going to line up nicely with this one, but it's going to line up nicely with this one, but it's not really going to line up nicely with the you know, the other levels to the right. So definitely in my case I use this level. All right, so and it's not only about the highs and the lows. The range EQ, the equilibrium, the middle of the range needs to be, you know, have confidence too. So actually, I might have, you know, I might have it all wrong. You gotta be open. You gotta be open for your own mistakes, right? So we're just gonna test this right here. I might be wrong. I might be right. I don't know. Let's try it out. Hopefully I'm right, because or else I'd look like an idiot. Right, so this is using the candle close, and all right, so we're using the candle closes for range high and range low of this move right here. And range high makes sense with this area here. We got that wick here, that level. Range low here makes sense too, but I sense that the wick down here is going to make sense too. With this level, this right here, this area, and these two levels. Range E cube though, I mean, does it make sense? It kind of does. Well, that's stupid. It kind of does make sense. So I'm gonna have to take a careful look at this and and you know what? We're getting rejected right at the range high here. So I might actually have gotten this range wrong. Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't, like, Burb uses wicks and I might use candle body closures, right? I mean, it doesn't really matter if you're using wick or if you're using wicks or candle open and closes, because it's all about whatever works for you, right? So whatever works for you. And honestly, for me, what has worked best for me is just to check how the range would look using the wicks, and then check how the range would look using the the close, the open and close, and whatever just makes more sense in regards to past price action level and where the range EQ is. And honestly, right here, I gotta give it to Burb. I mean, I like this. So let's see how this range is looking on the lower time frames. Yeah, this kind of looks good. I'm gonna have to take a closer look at this one. I do. Let's go to this chart right here. We're gonna look at we're gonna mark out this one as whatever color. Let's see, green, and we'll make a new one using the wicks. Now the question becomes, to use that wick or this wick. Let's see. Yeah, we're probably gonna have to use that one. We're gonna mark out this new one as yellow, and we're gonna use, compare the two. And this is what I mean by being open, like being open-minded when it comes to your own analysis, because it's very, very hard, and sometimes it's very easy for traders to get too confident in their own analysis and really they find something that they think looks good and they're just gonna kind of marry their ideas, right? And well, I mean, look at that. Look at the confluence with this blue line with the 618. So yeah, I'm gonna be using this range. It makes no sense. And this, honestly, like, I'm gonna go back and I need to talk about my... So last couple of, probably last month, so probably for a whole month, I've been using this green, or confluence. Yeah, I'm gonna... So if you don't know what confluence is, we should really talk about that. Confluence is the name of the game, right? Like in trading, what will determine if your setup is high probability or not is the confluence between different trading techniques. I'm gonna talk about confluence, but quickly, I'm just gonna have to explain something, and honestly, what I'm about to explain is my own failure or whatever, or my own kind of like, I realize now that I've been looking at the wrong range for almost a month, because I've been talking about this green range right here for almost a month, maybe two. Well, obviously not 2 months, but... And I've been talking about, so this... Why not to wake the hits? Well, because that's not how I like to draw these ranges, because you can't, like, how I find my ranges is I look at the high, because this is, in my opinion, just a fake out. This is a fake out of range high, right? And in my opinion, what you need to do when looking for ranges, you'll need to look for the high of the impulsive move as range high, and then the low of that reaction move as range low. So, this is that impulsive move, and this is the high. That's where your range high is going to be. Like, price has already been ranging when that happened. This is the beginning of the range. You can't really form a range by using this one, and then range low is going to be back in time. You need to figure out, like, where does your range actually begin, and right here the range begins with this high and this low. So that's, in my opinion, how I like to figure out ranges. So I remember in my past analysis I was talking about range high, range EQ, so this middle line right here, the green one. And I remember, like, yeah, both ranges are alright, but I remember one of my arguments for a move down to range low was the fact that we lost range EQ. We never lost this range EQ, which makes kind of sense because we had that move up to range high. So all of this, I'm not sure what you mean by, is that just deviation? But like this whole move right here, I would like to think kind of looks like a rounded retest of the range EQ. So we swept range EQ here, broke above, we had a rounded retest of the range EQ, bounced here, and we moved up to range high. So honestly, I think that makes way more sense. I'm gonna remove that one. And this is the range we are going to be using, and I'm definitely going to take this into consideration in the future when drawing my ranges. To when enough time has passed, I will have to go back and look at the range and see, does it still make sense, right? And in this case, it's this makes way more sense. All right, so we're going to talk about confluence quickly. So what is confluence? Well, this is confluence, right? You have prices is moving like this. You get an uptrend, right? And wait, that's bad. So this is price. You have an uptrend. Price is running into resistance, price is breaking out of that resistance, and you're not coming down to test that resistance. All right, so we have a resistance right here. Price broke that resistance to the upside, and you want to look for a possible trade on the retrace of this move. So you're gonna add some Fibonacci levels to this move. And you see that you actually have the 618 right in the middle of this previous resistance area. Should probably be support now, right? Because we are above this area. You have the 618 right in the middle of this support area, so that's adding some nice confluence, right? So you have confluence between a SR level and the 618 Fibonacci level. And if you put on the moving averages, you might see that you have the daily moving average might be coming in like this, right? That's the daily moving averages. This white line, let's make it another line. So let's do blue, right? So the blue line is the 200 simple moving average on the daily. Now that's adding another confluence to that level. All right. So what else do you want to look at? Well, maybe you have an order block, you know, somewhere in this area. You have a, like, let's say 3 months ago or 6 months ago or whatever, you go back in time and you get marked out a weekly order block, and that weekly order block might be this big, right? Obviously you're not going to have that on the chart, but you know that back in the day, 6 months ago, you have a very important bullish or bearish order block or whatever, and you have the order block EQ of that order block. The middle of that order block is going to be confluent with that level. So that's going to add another confluence to that level. So that's basically what confluence is, right? And the more confluence you have between your TA methods, the higher probability your trade will be, right? So if you're looking for a bounce in this area, obviously if all of these confluences, right? So let's say that the RLC was up here and the moving average was up here and the order block EQ was down here. It's just messy, right? It's just messy, and there's no real confluence other than this SR level. So you're losing the RLC of the fib and the so you're losing the RLC, and the 200 simple is going to be used as resistance, and the order block EQ is down here. So this, you know, the bounce here, the retest of this level might be a good trade, but you might not want to enter it blindly. You might want to wait for the actual bounce, and you might want to risk a little less on this setup, because there's no real confluence. The confluence are spread out over the map, right? So that's confluence for you guys, and I think that I'm gonna make a video on that and release it and upload it to my channel. I'll talk a little about confluence and what type of trading tools I use to actually find confluence with my levels. Alright, so that's confluence. I feel like we should probably talk about something else. Yeah, so we were talking about Bitcoin, and we were talking about how and basically what I wanted to show here was I wanted to look for confluence. So like I want to see, do we have any fib levels that lines up with a decent SR level? And on the daily, I mean, on like you can't ignore the fact that the 618 is right here, right? Cannot ignore the fact that the 618 is confluenced with the last daily high pre-breakout, right? So that's obviously going to be a very interesting area if this is the high of this move, right? So a daily rounded retest of the 618, the upper part of the RLC, is definitely going to be very interesting, right? Now let's add some moving averages. Like they're probably going to be below price, right? Yeah, so you have at least the daily EMA. So the daily 21 EMA, the yellow one, is close to the 618, so that's going to add some confidence to that level. And the 50 and the 55 is now moving up inside the RLC, so that's adding some like confidence with the RLC. You have the 200 simple and 200 EMA on the 4 hour close to the RLC, so that's going to add some confidence to that level 2. The weekly, you still have the weekly 21 EMA. The weekly 21 EMA is very close to range EQ right here, so that's going to add some confidence to the range EQ area. So alright guys, so this is it, right? This is it for Bitcoin. Super important that we break out of this area. I think, like, I thought that the next test, nullspat matic, yes, I will take a look at those. Honestly, I mean, I thought that if the market opens bullishly tomorrow and we get another leg up tomorrow, I think that Bitcoin will break out, because we have really been testing this level. I mean, honestly, this is going to be the 1, 2, 3, like the fourth or even the 5th time you test this area, right? Next time you test, the 10.5-ish area, I mean, it's very likely that it's going to break out. If we close the daily candle above this trend line, which kind of looks like we might do that, right? And looking at the 4 hour or even the hourly, you have a quite nice retest of that level. So if we hold this area for into tomorrow on Monday, beginning of next week, we will, most likely see this area break out to the upside. And if that's the case, I would like to that would be super bullish, and I'm gonna show you why, right? The weekly trend for Bitcoin is obviously down, right? So the weekly trend for Bitcoin is obviously down, right? But if we break above this red box resistance, we have a possible shot at beginning a new weekly uptrend. And if you look at Bitcoin's past price action, when Bitcoin enters a new weekly trend, that's obviously super bullish. And, well, obviously it's going to be bullish if it's bullish, but what I mean is, when a new weekly trend starts for Bitcoin, it usually trends for quite some time. Bitcoin really likes to find their, its weekly trends, and likes to stay inside the weekly trends for quite some time, a couple of months, right? So I do think that if we start a new weekly trend here, that's going to be the start of the move to all-time high being 20k, right? I really do think that that makes absolute sense, right? So, looking at this chart right here, it's looking quite likely that we're gonna get a retrace back to the RLC. But looking at this chart, if we actually fail to hold this trend line and we move below this gray box, which would happen if we retest the RLC, I mean, I'm gonna view this as reaction at range high. So honestly, for me, we need to break above range high before I start to really become bullish on Bitcoin. We're still inside the daily range, and interestingly enough, here's adding some more confidence to this daily range EQ, because that's the range low of this 4-hour range. Alright guys, so I think I bored you enough with Bitcoin. Let's actually take a look at some altcoins. So my girlfriend is going out for a walk, so I have to put on the baby monitor in case my son wakes up. And if he does wake up, I will have to take care of him, and I will most likely have to cancel the stream. So, do you guys want me to continue looking at Bitcoin for a while? Like, I think I've been looking at Bitcoin for almost an hour now, so I think I've covered most of it. And if you guys would like me to start taking a look at what happened here, you guys want me to take a look at alts, I will do that for you. First up, I will take a look at I really do appreciate you, yes. You've been here for you've been following me for a while, and I really do appreciate your presence here in the streams. You're really adding some great value to these streams, so thanks a lot. And that goes for all of you, like everyone in the chat who's participating and asking questions and asking for short requests. It's really, you guys are the reason I'm doing this, right? So I wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for you guys. Like, I'm trying to provide you guys with content, and without you guys there wouldn't be any content. So huge shout out to you guys, and a big thank you for joining the streams. And yeah, you guys are great. All right, so the BTC dominance, well, I mean this right, so you guys probably know already that when the BTC dominance goes up, alts go down. When the BTC dominance goes down, alts goes up. It's quite simple, and it's quite logical too, because the BTC dominance chart is the percentage of the crypto total market cap, which is all the money that's in crypto. How many percentage of that is in BTC? That's what this represents. Right now, 62.55% of the crypto market is in Bitcoin, right? When that is dropping, it means yeah, so yeah, exactly. That's what this chart represents right here, and it's moving up, right? So what's happening right here is people are watching this and they're thinking like, well, I don't want to be in alts, right? Because Bitcoin is, likely to, I mean, like, this is quite simple, right? If Bitcoin is going to break out, well, where is it going to break out? Well, it's going to break out at resistance. So people might be preparing for Bitcoin to actually break out, and it makes sense, right? Why would people prepare to break out here? Because it's not going to break out here, it's going to break out here. So when price comes up into this area, people might be preparing for the possibility of a breakout, right? And that means slowly exiting alts and getting ready to enter Bitcoin. And the people that actually think that Bitcoin will continue upwards will enter Bitcoin, right? So this move right here is a very clear up move for the BTC dominance, but honestly, it really needs to get above and reclaim this whole area right here for alts to really, like, we could say short term, it needs to reclaim this area, right? This would be the area that needs to get reclaimed for alts to really, really suffer, right? So with that said, we're going to take a look at a couple of altcoins, and we're going to begin by looking at the USDT pairs. So we're going to take a look at Link versus USDT. Now, like always, before I open up the Link chart, I'd like to say that I haven't checked Link in a while. And it's probably CME gap. All right, so we're going to take a look at CME. Yep. Yeah, we're gonna take a look at yep. It's a one. So we're gonna take a look at where is the, should be this one, right? This is it, right? So which gap are you referring to? Are you referring to the gap that will, like the gap that will happen? Or the gap that's actually, if there's any, like, are you referring to any specific gap, or are you referring to the gap that will be created once the market opens again? Because spot BTC is trading at 9. Yeah, so spot BTC is trading, let's just say 9.9. So we're gonna add a level right here. 9.9. Yeah, I mean, this is a very likely scenario that we're gonna retrace to, because that's 9,615. I'm gonna have to add some fibs here. Let's see. Yeah, they kind of. I was feeling all bullish and you know, full of energy before opening up this goddamn chart, but yeah, whatever. Like, honestly, I don't look at CME gaps, and there's no gap here. Like, remember, guys, there is no gap here, so there might be. So where does this move? I mean, you can, like, the CME chart is not going to be the exact replica of the spot chart, right, obviously. But the high of this one is, let's say 10.1. Let's put it at 10.1. So yeah, a move back down to the, like, to fill the CME gap would absolutely not turn me bearish. I mean, it's not a problem at all. I mean, this, however, if the gap would have been like something like this, that would have, you know, made me think. But this gap right here is like, we might get a retrace back, and it's not really gonna turn very bearish because of that. When I become bearish, like I am, like, I must say that I'm not ready to become full bull right now, because Bitcoin is still trading inside the range and we can't get above this one. We are above the trend line, but honestly, like, we need to see that full breakout before we start a new weekly trend. Like, what I want to see is, I want to get in on the new weekly trend. If I could do that, I would be super happy, because, like, yeah. So I want to see a breakout. I want to see the start of a new weekly trend, and I would trade the daily. I would be buying the daily uptrends. I would be selling the daily downtrends just like normal, but I would be way more bullish and way more aggressive in my buying, because we might be starting a new weekly uptrend. We're still at resistance, and I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see Bitcoin just get a fat reaction right here, stop moving back down again, lose range EQ and hit range low, sweep range low, reclaim that area, and then break out. That would be absolutely incredible and very not unlikely, obviously. Like, that shit happens, and if whales are really looking to accumulate Bitcoin before the massive new bull run, a lot of people are going to get stopped out, and a lot of people are going to have to be turned very, very bearish before we get that move up. Honestly, right now it feels like everyone's bullish, and everyone's bullish at resistance. Everyone's bullish inside the range, right? We're not above range high. We are above this trend line, but we're still inside the range. We're below the RLC, guys. We are below the short RLC, and everyone's bullish. So confirmation. All right, so it feels like I'm. God damn, I've been doing this hour already. God. So I'm just gonna go through the altcoins, and honestly, I'm not sure I have enough time to actually take a look at the rest, right? So well, obviously, I don't think there's much more to take a look at. I had plans of taking a look at the forex market, but that's gonna have to wait till tomorrow. All right, so Link USDT. Yeah, time really flies. It's pretty weird that I've been talking about Bitcoin for an hour, and yeah, flies. Yeah, time flies. Time flies. Time is a fly, and flies fly. All right, so Link USDT. All right, so yeah, god damn. You're welcome, man. You're welcome, and thanks for joining the stream. This is the low, and this is the top of the weekly moves. We're gonna add some fibs here. Fibs. Yeah. Yeah, I've been watching this area for quite some time. I got the wrong chart. Yeah, so here's two levels I'm watching on Link USDT. This level right here, and I'm gonna show you why I think that's important. It's the 50% Fibonacci retracement level. So, well, actually, it's between the 50% and the 618. So I do like this level. It's obviously prior resistance strong. So if we get a strong retrace on Link, which we probably wouldn't want because this never retraces, but if it does, I'm going to be looking at this level. And if we're going to look at the 4-hour trend, yeah, it kind of makes sense to use this low. This low to this high. Got some fib confluences here. So yeah, and it actually bounced off the 618 beautifully right here, as you can see right here. And we get a bullish break in market structure, but we failed to reclaim this high. So I would not be buying Link right now because of the fact that we are moving back down into the RLC and this support area that I mentioned. I would like to see how big. Yeah, so I would let this dump 10% or pump 10%. So I would like to see Link reclaim this area to confirm bullish market structure. I'd like this to, confirm bounce here, or if we break this area to downside, we have confirmed bearish market structure, and I would be looking for a test of the resistance area, support area between 4.5 to 5. Something like that. All right, so we got XTZ USDT, XTC USDT, so Tesos versus USD. Well, I had this idea on the chart, which is not really looking that great because I wanted to see a rounded retest. We're not getting a rounded retest. This is not interesting at all anymore. We were talking about this support area last time, and we're kind of getting a retest of that area. We're gonna add some fibs here to see if we can make any sense out of this. Got the low to the high. We'll see no, I don't know. This is not looking not really what I... Yeah, so looking at the daily, quite obvious right here. We're in a daily uptrend, but we're losing momentum. We got a lower high, might be working out as a M pattern right here. Breakout retest for confirm a bearish market structure. I would like to see a clean daily open and close above this area. So a clean daily open and close above 3.2. And with a clean open and close, I mean a candle opening and closing above 3.2 without any wicks touching the area, the breakout level, basically the area below. With that, I would look for a rounded retest of the $3 area. Alright, OGN BTC. Like with most BTC pairs, like alts versus BTC pairs, this one would most likely have dumped quite a bit, and it have. So we had no real reaction of this RLC, so we lost that one completely. What we need to do now is we need to yeah, we're gonna remove everything here. So yeah, we got this level right here, and this one right there. I would say that this is a strong SR level, right? I'm gonna mark out this one as a support. So what needs to happen here, and I'm not really sure how to mark out the fibs here, because this move right here is just kinda destroys the whole idea with adding fibs to this one, because this is the low, this is the top, then this would be the low, and this is the top. But I would really, you know what, let's see if we can find anything interesting if we use this low to this high. Yeah, so we have the 50 right here. We actually bounced off close enough to the 618 right here. So I would like to see a daily open and close above the 50% level, let's say 3,250. So a daily open and close about 3,250 would, you know, confirm this as the bounce of the 618 and the support level, and that's probably gonna be a good sign of a continuation of this daily uptrend. So right now the daily trend is in danger of actually turning bearish. We're gonna add some moving averages here. We're gonna see, do we have any moving averages that lines up nicely with the 50% or the 618. And we obviously have the 55 EMA kind of lining up nicely with the 50%, but nothing too convincing right here. But I do like the fact that we are bouncing and we might get a daily close above the 55, and 55 has really held price up all the way, you know, when we had that bull cross right here, and when price perfectly retested that bull cross between the 21 and the 55. So I like that. Let's look at the weekly moving. Yeah, and this is what I like, right? This is the weekly 21 EMA right here. So yeah, nice confidence with this support area. I would like to see a daily, at least this daily close above the 50%. I would then look at the Monday's price action to see if we can get a rounded retest of that level. That would be a pretty nice confirmation of a continuation of the daily trend for OGN BTC. Now let's take a look at LTC BTC. Yeah, so this is a setup that we had on LTC, right? And yeah, we got a interesting, gonna remove this one, get an interesting level right here. Kind of looks like Litecoin is coming back down to test this support area, right? And before I end the stream, I'm also going to answer a couple of very important questions that we had in the Nest Club Discord. We had a couple of questions that I think will you know, be of help to all of you if we take a look at them together. But yeah, LTC has come down to this support level, and I mean, I don't like this. I really do not like this. If this daily closes below, we have a daily fake out at this level. 4-hour round retest. All right, it's looking okay. We have the moving averages confluence with that area, not really. On the 4-hour, well, I don't know. This. So we have the 2-1, but I'm more looking at the purple 200 EMA and the white 200 simple. So I think it's yeah, I would not be buying Litecoin right here, but if it would have been a rounded retest, it would have been perfect, right? So if this would have been a rounded retest on a daily, that would have been perfect setup on it, obviously. Before I move up to this red box resistance right here, stop probably below the cross candle, this daily candle open, right? But right at this very moment, gotta be careful with this one. We have a call on this one, right? So I'll take a look at this later in the bird nest and take a look at that one. But right now, if you're in Litecoin, do not exit right here. But because if you sell your position right here, you would be selling at support, and that's not how it works, right? You want to be buying support and selling resistance. You're not going to be selling support. So if you're in a trade right here, stick to the trade idea. This is still looking good, but I would not be buying here, but I would absolutely not be selling here. All right, so IOTA BTC. Now we have a trade setup on this one. I know that well, this is looking good actually. Looking at the daily, this is looking absolutely good. We have a daily uptrend, and the daily uptrend is looking confirmed. I don't know where this setup comes from, but I'm gonna remove it. So the daily uptrend for IOTA is looking fine, and it's still up. The 4-hour uptrend is looking fine, and we're actually getting round retest of this support right here. So it's looking good. And if you add some fibs to first this one, you will notice that you're bouncing off the RLC, the 618. So it's looking good. Do not sell here. Could absolutely dump. Yeah, absolutely it could dump, but it's not dumping right now, and we're holding support. So we're gonna mark out the fibs right here. We're gonna see, do we have any confluence with that level from before, and we have the 382 right here, confluent with the daily 21 EMA, and we're holding the daily 21 EMA. So IOTA BTC is still looking good, still looking bullish. That's what I got on the IOTA. Yeah, I like it. I like it. NALS BTC. This one, however, is not looking that very beautiful. So we're gonna add the fibs right here. We got the fib down here to this level. We have the RLC down here. We are bouncing off this 618, but we're losing this very important support above. We're gonna mark out that one as green because it's a support right now. We're losing that area. This looked like a beautiful rounded retest of the 50% fib. But I mean, we are bouncing off the 618 right here. So if we get a daily close above this level, I would probably think that we will see higher prices. So nulls, I'm neutral on right now. I would be bearish if the RLC was, if price were below the 618, but price is actually bouncing up the 618, but price is below the 21 EMA and the 55 EMA. Both the 200 EMA and the 200 simple is inside the RLC, but the RLC is not really confident with any super major SR level. The SR level that I'm watching is really the 50% fib. So yeah, honestly, yeah, absolutely. I will do a video on fibs probably next month, because I've been super busy yeah, this month. But I will make way more videos for you guys. And if you guys are in the Burb Nest, we remember, like, we do the daily webinars, and I will most likely cover all of this stuff in the daily webinars for the exclusive Nest Club members. If you're watching this live and you're not in the Nest Club, you need to check out the nestclub.com. And if you have any questions at all about the Nest Club, and if you're, you know, on the fence of, you know, if you're not sure if you want to join or whatever, send me a message, comment on this video, and I will show you some stuff that you will most likely join, right? Because yeah, send me a message. I will sort that out for you. And yeah, absolutely, like fibs, confidences, all that kind of stuff. Like the stuff I'm releasing on my YouTube will also be covered in the Bird Nest, but way more detail. Like in the Bird Nest on the webinars, we're gonna do it way more detail. We're gonna take it to the next level. If there's a 10-minute video on my YouTube channel, you could be sure that that 10-minute video is gonna get stretched out to a 1 or 2 hour webinar where we dive down into every little detail of that concept, and you get to ask us questions along the way, right? So if you think that you can, you know, check out all the content on my YouTube and kind of build a trading strategy around that, you're absolutely right. But if you want to get ahead and you want to make it quicker, and if you want to, you know, just get the faster path to understanding how to bring all of the concepts together, that's what we do in the Bird Nest. All right, so what am I talking about? So nulls, I think I covered this one nicely. We got bat. I don't want to open bat. I don't like watching this because this is the trade setup that we have in the Bird Nest, and this is not really what I like to be seeing, because I really thought that bat was looking so good. And I mean, this is just trading. I mean, fuck it. I mean, stuff happens, shit happens. This is just whatever, right? I don't like the fact that we're so close to actually losing the RLC. We need to see an up move for bat right here. If you're not in this trade, I would probably look towards the 200 simple, which is like it's also confluent with and you know, SR level, so it kind of makes sense to look at that too. And if we're gonna add the fibs here to this move, I mean, you have the RLC down here at range low. We don't want to lose this area. If it loses this area, this whole idea becomes invalidated, and it's probably going to take some time for bat to actually reach range EQ. So yeah, bat, we need to actually see bat bounce here, and we need to see bat reclaim the 618 level for this trade to be, in my opinion, valid, right? So if we'll see a bearish retest of this area, that's not really gonna be the what I would be happy seeing. But this is just the nature of trading, right? Sometimes your ideas just does not work out, and it's all about, it doesn't really matter. I mean, every individual idea that you find in any individual trade doesn't really matter. All that matters is, are you consistent enough to, over the course of 100 or 200 trades, trade the same type of pattern that you find a, you know, 60% success rate in? Because if you do that, the individual trades that are losers isn't really going to matter, because you know that a majority of the trade using this strategy or whatever is winners. That's what trading is all about. It's like you get to trade like a casino. You get to trade with a small edge over the competition, and if you do that over a long period of time, you will always be the winner, right? So last but not least, we will take a look at Matic versus BTC, and after this one, we're gonna quickly go through the questions in the Bird Nest that I got before we started this stream. So we got a decent support area right here on Matic. We're gonna watch the daily. This area is also confluent with the 200 main and 200 simple, so I do think that we are going to get a bounce here, but I'm not gonna be buying this right here because it's actually the third retest on the daily. So the third retest on a daily is not something I would like to be buying. We have a level down here, which I think is very interesting if we fail this area. But then that would also mean failing the 200 main and 200 simple on the daily. Where's the weekly 21? So we're actually trading right on the weekly 21 right now. So if we close the weekly above the 21 EMA, that would be a good thing. And if trading this bounce right here, I would recommend using a stop loss below these wicks right here, and profit taking would obviously be up around the 227 area. All right, so that's all the shorting requests today. We're gonna take a look at the Discord, and all right, so yes, had a question about the saying or whatever. I guess you could call it saying. Like sometimes you probably hear people talk about, you know, booking profits, and you gotta keep taking profits. You're gonna keep booking profits, and they like what people mean by that is you gotta secure your unrealized profits, right? Because you can enter a long on Bitcoin, say, and Bitcoin pumps 100%, and you're like super euphoric because you're up 100%, but you haven't sold anything, right? Because you haven't taken any profits, right? But you're still viewing that trade as a winner, and you're still viewing that trade as a huge success because you're up 100%. You have doubled your position. That's a great trade, right? Just beautiful, right? You have doubled your position, but you haven't sold. So the next day, it retraces that whole move, right? And you're back at entry. You're back at, so you haven't won anything, right? So what that means, what you need to do when entering a position like that, and when you see that your position is going in your favor, you have to actually take profits, right? You have to keep taking profits and keep booking profits, right? And what people mean by that, it's not really like it's not really about setting, you know, specific take profits at each levels or whatever, and having a specific system for that. Like every individual trader has their own way of booking profits and taking profits. For me, for example, in Forex, I like to take profits, take 50% off above 1-to-1 R, and move my stop to entry for a free position. So I take 50% profit, I then move my stop to entry for a free position, and I just let it run and move my stop with every new swing low. When trading altcoins, I enter and I automatically set 25 take profit, like sell orders, at every resistance above entry. So I have 4 sells on the way up to my final take profit. So if I buy at 100 and I see the price has the probability of going to 200, I will sell at 4 major resistance levels until it comes up to that level. So if price hits my last take profit, I know that I've taken partial profits on the way up in case it doesn't hit that last take profits. So that's what it's all about, right? You need to take profits for, you know, to actually make any money, right? So it's important to not get lost in the trade and think that it's just going higher and higher and higher. It's just way easier to, and it's way less stressful to just, when you see the price is moving in favor of your idea and your setup, you keep, you know, you sell some, you take some profits, and you can tell yourself like, well, the profits on this trade isn't going to be as big as I might have hoped for, but at least I can take a step back and relax and know that I've made money on the trade. And if it goes higher, I'm still in with a smaller position, I'm still gonna make money. But on the other hand, if you're not selling and it doesn't go higher and it just dumps straight back to entry, you might end up losing money. It's very important to, you know, protecting what you already have. Right, so we did take a look at XTC, USDT, Algo. We have Algo left. So I'm going to take a look at Algo BTC. And we're also going to take a look at Algo USDT. So, stole that. Right, so Algo is coming down to test the RLC. This is beautiful. I want to see Algo BTC test the RLC, and if we get a bounce inside the RLC, I'm most likely going to enter something here on Algo. Algo USDT, I think he's referring to Algo USDT because we did take a look at this one yesterday. So yeah, so this is the area I'm looking at. As long as we bounce inside this area, and we have the last high pre-breakout right here. So as long as we hold this area, I'm still bullish on Algo. I think it makes sense to hold the position on Algo. And if we get a move like this, a sweep and reclaim, we might have a new setup on Algo USD. Alright guys, so that's it. I think I'm done with tonight's live stream. I'm getting tired. We've been doing this for 1.5 hours now, and I feel like I need to do something else because I'm tired of talking. I need to drink some water. So again, I want to give you guys like a big thank you. Honestly, you guys rock. Every time you come in here and you keep asking, you know, very smart and good questions, and yeah, I hope you guys will continue to watch my live streams, and I will continue to provide you guys with educational content on trading or whatever. Yeah, Strat. What do you mean? What did you screw up? Oh, you mean you didn't sell, you didn't take profits on Strat. And that's like there's a fine line between taking too much profits and just not taking profits at all, because there's a saying that a lot of people, you will probably hear a lot of people say that no one has ever gone broke taking profits, but that's not true, right? That's absolutely not true. A lot of people have actually gotten broke by taking profits, and a lot of people have blown their accounts by taking profits. And now that might sound weird to some of you, the new guys out there who doesn't know what I'm talking about. That might sound very intuitive, but you gotta realize this, right? You gotta realize this. You're taking a trade, right? You're taking a trade, and you want your trade to be a minimum of 2R, right? That's your strategy, right? You're not gonna take a trade unless it's 2R. So you're always going to sell when price hits your stop target. You're always going to sell when price hits your stop target. And you're always going to risk always 1%. This is just an example, so don't do this, but this is just an example, right? So you're always going to let price hit your stop loss, and you're always going to risk 1%. So whatever happens on all your losers, you're gonna lose 1%. So that's that, right? And if you do that, you also have to follow your rules of taking profits. Because what if you take profits here, right? What if you take profits here? So you're gonna risk 1%, and you know that if price hits your stop loss, you're gonna risk 1% and you're gonna lose 1%. But when price starts moving in your favor, you take profits here, you're gonna win 0.76%. And if you keep doing that enough times, you will notice that your winners will become smaller than your losers. So the saying that nobody has ever gone broke taking profits, that's absolutely not true. A lot of people have actually blown their accounts because they're taking profits too often and too early, so that their winners is smaller than their losers, and the losers are bigger than the smaller, so the losers take over their win rate. You can have a very high win rate, but if your winners are smaller than your losers, you're gonna lose money, right? Something to think about when taking partial profits. For example, I have a 5R trade here. And if I'm gonna take partial profits, let's say that I take 5 profit areas like this. Alright, so that's my profit taking areas. By doing this, my average take profit area will be this middle one. So with a 5R quickly becomes a 3R trade, right? Because I take profits on the way up. And if the trade only hits my take profit 2, this is only going to be like a, because I take 25% on each position, which means I exit 50% here. So the average exit area will be between these lines. So let's say 1.41R, right? It's decent, but it could be better, right? So that's something to think about. You have to always calculate your average exit too. Alright guys, thanks for joining. See you guys next time. If you have any questions, ask me in the comment. If you're not following me already on Twitter, follow me on Twitter, and please, if you're not subscribing to the channel, definitely subscribe to the channel. Hit that little notification bell and you will get notified whenever I post a video. And yeah, again, thank you guys for joining, and see you guys next time.